Hey guys, my name is Kristen Fedeli and I'm a Premier Level 5 Lexus Achiever with Rodan Fields. If somebody would have told me 2.5 years ago that I would be sharing my skincare journey with you, I would have laughed and told them I had a number for a great therapist that they should call. This was never in my plans for my life, but I want you to understand kind of how I came from my former life to the life that I'm living right now. So I was an elementary school teacher for 7 years. I taught fifth grade in Altoona, Pennsylvania, and I absolutely loved my job as a teacher. That was really the only thing I ever wanted to be whenever I was growing up. And when I accomplished that, I was like, this is where I'll retire. I love this job. Very quickly into my career in teaching, I realized that there were kids who needed a bit more than academics. They came from backgrounds where their parents either didn't or couldn't take care of them, and they had a lot of issues, and I wanted to help in a different way. So I went back to school to get my elementary school counseling degree. That landed me at a lovely school in Fredericksburg, Virginia, where I was a school counselor for 6 years. And I absolutely loved that job. I had the best staff, the best kids, the best families. I really loved what I was doing. But something that I didn't realize about myself is I am very, very tenderhearted, and I started to take everything that happened in that job straight to the heart. I always say that I started to burn out after about 6 minutes. So you can imagine what my mental state was 6 years into the job. Things got markedly more difficult for me whenever my husband and I had a miscarriage and started struggling with infertility. I was at work every day helping kids who were being either, mistreated or abused or neglected by their families while I was trying so hard to start my own family at home. And, I started to get really bitter inside, and I started to think, why are these families having these kids that they're not even taking care of? And I would give anything to have a child of my own. And it really started to change me. All of the effort that I had put into helping others, I really needed all of that energy to even hold myself together every day. And I started to turn into somebody that I really had never been and I really didn't love. I was just changing inside. And, I thought, something has to give. Like, either we are going to start our family or I am going to, find a new job because this just isn't working for me. Shortly after our miscarriage, I saw that my friend Jen, who was a counseling coworker with me, had started her Rodan Fields business. I stalked her quietly on Facebook for 4 months. I watched her journey. I would see her once a month at our counseling meetings, and her skin was changing. She was really happy. If you know anything about educators in the middle of winter, they don't look rested, their skin is not bright and shiny, and they are not that happy, especially in a year when there are very little snow days. And so finally, about 4 months into me stalking her on Facebook, I was sitting across from her at a counseling conference in February, and I just looked at her and I was like, what gives? Like, why are you so pretty? Why are you so happy? And she shared about Rodan Fields, and she shared with such passion and such conviction about her belief where the company was going that if she would have been selling popsicles, I would have been like, I could probably get behind this. She told me that she would be leaving our profession at the end of that year to be home with her little girls because she was making more with Rodan Fields than she was making after 17 years in education with a master's degree. And that got my attention because honestly, I wasn't having a lot of luck in the job search. I'd only ever been trained to talk to kids ages 5 to 12, which super limits the job market. So when she brought up Rodan Fields, I thought, I don't know if I can do this. My initial thoughts were good for her, probably not for me. But I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so I jumped in with both feet and I said, teach me. I'm coachable. I want to do what you're doing. I want to know what you know. And initially, I think I was just looking for, I think at best I was hoping for something to take my mind off of infertility, to provide some positivity in my life every day, just like a distraction. And if I could go to Target a couple extra times without my husband wondering where all the bags were coming from, that would be a super big bonus. What came next totally shocked me. I always say that saying, we plan and God laughs. I always say I didn't pray for a business, I prayed for a baby. But God gave me this business, which is changing my life and allowing me to help change others' lives. Once I jumped in 2.5 years ago, things started to, progress pretty quickly. And within 15 months, I was sitting behind the wheel of the company's shiny white Lexus because of my amazing teammates and the work that we did together. And I drove away from that school counseling job to work from home. And you know what? Our financial future looks entirely different now than it used to. And what it means to me is not the money. What it means to me are the options that I have now. For the first time in my life, I really feel like I am able to take care of myself. I feel like I'm able to be a better wife, a better daughter, a better friend, and just a better person to me. I was always the type of person who put everybody else first and put myself last. And if that meant I was just like dragging through the day, that's what it meant. And it's not like that anymore. I always say, if I'm tired now, I rest. If I'm hungry, I eat lunch a little bit earlier. If I have to pee, I go to the bathroom. Can I get an amen from the teachers in the house? I get to live life on my terms, and that's extremely new to me. Something that also happened that I never expected, but I had always prayed for, was it has allowed my husband to also walk away from his job and pursue his passion in entrepreneurship and product development. He worked in a gym running a fitness program from the time that we've been married. And I came into our marriage with some debt, and I wasn't paying it off as a school counselor. And he took that on, and he was like, we're going to get rid of this. And I always lived with like that feeling of, I wish I could do something for him to pay him back for that, because that was just, he wanted to alleviate my stress. And so I wanted to do the same for him. And so just this month, he was able to walk away from that job so that he can start doing something that he's really passionate about. And it means so much to me that Rodan Fields has allowed us both this opportunity. I don't tell you any of this to brag in any way. I honestly feel that if I can do this, anyone can do this. When I started this business, I was very introverted, sometimes don't even answer my own mom's phone calls, and have a hard time ordering a pizza on my own. Like, talking to people is not my strength. And when I started, I had these little voices in my head that said, there's no way you're going to be able to do this. But I was happy to prove them wrong because, sometimes we think we're in a comfort zone, but are we really that comfortable? Or are we just kind of going through the motions day to day and waiting for the weekend, waiting for something to happen? And I got tired of being that passive passenger. I wanted to, be in more control. And that's what Rodan Fields has allowed me to do. It's allowed me to put first what deserves to be first. And it has allowed me to really experience life on a different level. So if you've been considering this business, or it's something that has crossed your path more than once and you can't quite get it out of your head, I encourage you to loop back around to whatever consultant pointed you towards this video and just ask those hard questions. Tell them what you're fearing. Tell them what your concerns are, and hear them out, because you really don't know what you don't know until you give this a chance. And that's what I encourage you to do. I can't imagine, if I hadn't given this a chance, what my life would look like now. And I thank God every day that he sent me this life raft and that I got in. So thank you guys so much for hearing out my story. This is my unique Rodan Fields story, and I can't wait to, see anyone who can build theirs too, because the possibility is there for everyone. Thanks, guys.